Good morning and wonderful, wide, warm welcome to New Thought Center of Hawaii. We are delighted to have you with us, whether you're in the room or on the tube or sometime in the future choosing to tune in on the YouTube recording. So, welcome all. The first item of business is to read from Science of Mind. Jamie is going to make a selection. No, I think we'll have to use that one.
Aloha and good morning. Not sure if it's working. It doesn't sound like it. It is? Okay. All right. We have overcoming fear based energy. I let go of all fear and doubt, and life becomes simple and easy for me. As light overcomes the darkness, as the presence of heat causes the coolness of a room to change until it is warm and comfortable, so the radiant action of love and peace dissipates fear, hate, and confusion. Ernest Holmes. At a writer's workshop a few years ago, I was asked if you could write a book that would change the world for the better, what would you want to write about? I answered fear. This is because I think that the overuse of fear in our lives keeps us from living full out. Yes, fear can serve as a support if we are in danger. Our bodies react and help us to move quickly to get away from danger. However, in our society, we so overuse fear that our entire nervous system is stressed out, and the mental equivalents we build for ourselves and our world are often building blocks of great fear, not building blocks of creativity, excitement, and possibility. Then we look around and wonder why the structures of our lives are so wonky. It is because we individually and collectively are so tempted to let fear win. We let fear rule the decisions we make and the decisions we take. We can overcome this tendency by noticing our fear based energy and learning to guide ourselves through it in ways that are kind and loving. When I want to do this for myself, I often hear the voice of my beloved grandfather, who taught me many things and always had the most patient and kindest voice as he did so, even when he was scared for me or for himself. And I can hear his gentle words reminding me softly to self correct or encouraging me with words like, "You got this." So I'm going to read the affirmation once and then we can read it together. When it comes to transcending fear, I choose faith in myself as I hear my own loving say, "I got this." So together, when it comes to transcending fear,
When it comes to transcending fear,
I choose faith in myself
I choose faith in myself
as I hear my own loving voice say,
as I hear a loving voice say,
"I've got this."
I've got this.
Mahalo.
Thank you so much, Jamie. And I forgot to say good morning. I'm Anna. I'm your delighted to be your facilitator this morning. Let's begin with a silent meditation. I will ring the chimes to begin and end. Good morning again, and welcome to New Thought Center of Hawaii. Do we have anyone visiting here for the very first time? Oh, great. Can you share us your name and where you're from? Well, good morning, Aaliyah. Thank you for coming today. The way we're going to introduce ourselves is with a very brief answer to a question that our speaker Roberto will pose for us.
Actually, the question would be uh, any music or song or piece of music that really has inspired you in your life to think or meditate on spirit, God, or the ultimate or some other spiritual context. So any kind of music that may have helped you in your life.
And can we pass your microphone?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, this one is on? Let me see.
So the microphone will be passed on. Just say a piece of music that may have helped you or inspire you in your life. Uh,
Test. Is this working? Is this working?
Yes.
Wonderful. I will start inside.
all music. All right. Yeah, but I know Alessandra, you would probably like something like this because she likes Celtic music. I know. Okay, let's use this microphone here then. Yeah.
This one was
Alrighty. Hi, I'm Spencer. I can't think of a single, but I'd say I have a certain affinity for like the violin and musical pieces, and that one always seems to really speak to me.
Hi, I'm Andrea. I can't think of a particular piece of music, but I love like electronic music and instrumental music. I feel like sometimes that just like transcends me into another dimension. So yeah, I'm a big music lover.
Hi, I'm Candy. I so love the piece of music that I heard as I was entering Canon in D minor.
Yes, I was thinking of that one too. Good morning. It's so nice to have you guys in from Florida. Well, that is a really, for me, that's an epiphany because I never would have thought of it or I haven't really thought of it. One piece of music that might have inspired. So I'm going to name a few, but the Native American flute, in when I was much younger in my teens, it just penetrated my heart and really took my mind into my heart. Krishna Das, of course, and you in your living room in the heart, Aaron.
Good morning. My name is Leah. So much music inspires me, but I grew up with a mother who played classical piano, and so I grew to appreciate classical piano, especially Claire de Lune and Moonlight Sonata. And I'm also very fond of all the musicals, especially Rodgers and Hammerstein. And there's so many beautiful, inspiring pieces of music that go along with each of the stories that are told through the musicals. And I'm always inspired when I hear those, like from Sound of Music, When I Walk Through a Storm, one of my favorites. Thank you.
This is a really good question for me. It's evoking all kinds of things, but I remember being a child and my sister being 14 years older and a tough time as a kid. And she would go to the piano and play Bridge Over Troubled Water.
My name is Liza, and when Paul's father was passing, I sang Amazing Grace for like hours in the night at a fire up on the hill where I was living. And it gives me chills when I hear it.
Hi, I'm Darcy. I like New Age music. I love Native American flute, classical concertos, especially Rhapsody on a Theme of Paganini.
Hi, I'm Cindy, and what always gets me and kind of my go-to is George Harrison, All Things Must Pass, and Beware of Darkness. Sorry, is that better? Okay. George Harrison, All Things Must Pass, and Beware of Darkness.
Hi, my name is Sally, and I would say I spend a little bit of time with indigenous populations, so the Native American flute, and I can picture one of the times in the Southwest when I was in a cave with some people and listening to that, and every time I hear it now, I think of that time.
Music in general is a really powerful medicine for me. I love kirtan. Any sacred music, Christian music. I think when musicians are in a spiritual place, that comes through the music. But music really takes me to another place. I can't think of a particular song, but definitely the kirtan experience. Like when I'm singing involved, I get blissful. Yeah.
I'm Palmer. That's a tough one because I like so many different types of music. But yeah, for spiritual kirtans and bhajans, Pasha Bell's Canon was our wedding song, so that's always had a special place in my heart. And more recently, I saw Rafe Perlman do Hallelujah at the Pyramid House, and that was just so moving. The song, his voice, and his movements just combined to make a wonderful experience. I find myself singing that in my head over and over.
Hi. Yeah, I agree with Palmer in terms of there's so much music I love and it moves me all the time. I think what I love the most is just knowing the people playing the music and feeling that connection, and because it's like their heart through the music. And so a live show or just being in a jam at a session, with friends in a home, that's to listen to music. And of course, here at New Thought.
Hi, my name's Ingrid. I'm from Hilo. And I think the piece I love the most right now that I'm utterly addicted to is Gabriel's Oboe. It's my favorite right now.
That's great. This isn't on. This one's on. I'm John Pierre, and it's wonderful to be back in the alignment with the harp ensemble again and be here with you. And the piece of music that comes to my mind this day is called Haru no Umi, which is the sea in springtime, which being here reminds me of. It's a beautiful Japanese piece, usually shakuhachi and koto.
Aloha, my name is Bernice, and my spiritual name is Brihan Naradia Purana. But my favorite pieces are many, and I think that once you get into the music of a particular culture, it helps you to relate to the people, the places, the things. It's just kind of so amazing. And that's basically what happened with me with Hawaiian music. And one of my favorite players, composers, or writers of music is Kealihi Rachel, and we'll probably play something from him today.
Thank you. My name is Manuel Roberto. Sorry, someone is recording. I love a lot of different kinds of music, specifically a lot of, and I will be playing some of it later for your enjoyment and pleasure, part of the presentation. Thank you.
Where's it going? Nope. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Say your name and
Yes. Thank you. I'm Erika. I'm come from Japan. Yeah. Oh. All music. Yes. Ah.
Sorry, what is the question? So when my folks got divorced, I was in a really challenging place, and I was a little kid, and I stumbled across Music from the Hearts of Space, which they cover a lot of genres, from world music to um, stories from India to electronic music. And I recently sponsored it, and so it's on at 9 o'clock in Kona here on the public radio. And it just helped me through that time because especially as a man, I didn't really have ways to express my feelings or what was happening for me. So I would say music really helps me to feel and to help me through some times where I don't understand how I'm feeling or I'm grieving or whatnot. And it like transforms and goes through all genres. And so, yeah. So Music from the Hearts of Space.
Say their name. Okay. I think it's time for a song.
So this will be a piece from the Hawaiian musical tradition, Mauna Leo.
Aloha na o Mauna Leo.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Mauna Leo is a
Our
beautiful, beautiful piece by Kaylee Rochelle. Is Mauna Leo is the mountain. The mountain as our mother could be Mount. Like Mauna Kea is our mother because it gives us shelter, shade, nourishment. It's a very powerful influence in the Hawaiian culture, right? The mountain. So Mauna Leo.
thank you for the song and the explanation. Our next segment is a special little thing we like to do called Miracles and Ordinaries. And anyone who has had an experience in the recent past that you consider out of the ordinary, or it could be very ordinary, but in any case, it was something that was important to you. And if you would like to share, uh, let's see, the microphone is, we need to, yes, go ahead. The microphone is where? Um, is this the same one, John? I don't. Okay.
Okay, I don't know how many people here remember. Well, a lot of people do remember Oscillaria. Well, today on Facebook was this memory of celebration of life here at New Thought for Oscillaria. And her sister is coming this in August next month to claim her things that have been in a locker that I've been holding for her for 6 years. And all of a sudden, we got invited to a barbecue to people we hadn't met yet, in Ocean View. And there was this little old lady there by the name of Lilo. And she was the one I drove Oscillaria's car to Ocean View to her. I didn't know her before. I had not seen her after. And there she was just a couple of days ago. Then I went to Manini Beach, and there was a woman who used to live with Oscillaria. So Oscillaria is around here a lot right now, being 6-year anniversary of her passing. And her sister is looking for a place to stay. She's of limited income. So if anybody knows any place for the 22nd to the 30th and or a car to rent for her. That's all. This is Oscillaria. If anybody has just put your name. I'll put a piece of paper on the table over here. Mahalo.
Do we have any more miracles and ordinaries? Yes, please come forward, Leah.
Well, this is my first time here to this service and to this center, and I'm thrilled to be here because I met Aaron last week. I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm from California. My husband passed about a year and a half ago, and I had a 38-year dream to live here. Every time I would come and visit, because I have family in Honolulu, every time I got on the airplane to leave, I would cry because I felt like I was leaving my home, even going home. So, home thing. And I know that this is my home. So I've desired it for 38 years. So a year ago, I had passed to stay at my nephew's Airbnb in Honolulu for a week, 10 days for vacation. But I also came with the intention that I knew I was coming to inquire about moving here, living here. The law of attraction is a miraculous thing, and I'm learning more about it all the time. And for me, this is the biggest example that I could share with you at this moment, because I went to a beach when I was here by myself, had a rental car, just by myself, tootling around, enjoying the ocean. I'm an ocean girl. And I went to a beach that my husband and I had gone to, Dog Beach. You probably already know where it is, by the harbor. I went there sentimentally because we had snorkeled there when we were on our honeymoon. So I went there sentimentally, and it was middle of the day. Sun is high and hot, and I was looking for shade, and they were all taken except one coconut tree and one lady sitting under it, but enough room for shade for two. So I walked over and said, "May I share the shade?" And she said, "Oh, I'll sit down." Beautiful German accent. So we sat and chatted, and she was obviously German, so I asked about her heritage, et cetera, et cetera. Long story short, she lived here 7 years. Her name is Corolla. She's also a scuba diver. I'm a diver. And so we were sharing all those stories. And then I said, I told her my story, and she said, "Oh, that's wonderful. There's all kinds of wonderful places here to live and wonderful people." And I said, "I love the Aloha spirit." So, long story short, she invited me 2 days later to Hohokena Beach to a group of people who always meet there for lunch, and they do a potluck. They're all mostly from the south part of the island. So I went there, and I met 12, 15, 20 people. Remembering those names was, hello, one day. Now I'm fast forwarding 6 months later. Corolla and I, she's back in Germany. We're on the phone every month or so, 6 weeks, whatever, catching up. And she's saying, "How's the rental search going?" I'm saying, "I'm finding nothing. I'm starting to panic, but I know I can trust my intuition. I know it's going to work." And she said, "I know. I have a friend, husband and wife. They have a home in Ocean View. They're looking for a house rent. I'm a house sitter." I went, "Sign me up." So the law of attraction was in effect before I even, as soon as I set my intention. And then the magic of happening since then, of her connecting me with friends, of me clearing my house of 3-bedroom house of everything that 3-bedroom house has, all the furniture, everything that I didn't need any longer, and getting on an airplane and buying a one-way ticket. And here I am, and I'm even 2 months later, I'm in pinch me zone, but I'm so grateful, and I'm so trusting, and I know that something is going to appear just at the right time. I'm good until October 1st, and I just keep talking to people and saying, well, buy, rent, share." So I don't know yet, but I'm going with a deep, deep level of trust and intuition, and following moments like my little voice last week said, "Check on storage, because most of my stuff's still in Los Angeles. Check on storage." So I went on the internet. I found the closest place, which was where Aaron works. I called to check on the fees. She's so friendly and so loving and so kind and so helpful. When I met her, I get in my car and came right up here and signed up and so now my storage stuff is coming, which is wonderful. I get my scuba gear, get in the water again. Anyway, thank you, Erin. And she invited me here. So again, just I'm I know it's a long story. Sorry for being so wordy, but I like to share because sometimes we all have doubts in our life. We have that thing called fear that perks up, FEAR, false evidence appearing real. And so I see it as a paper wall. And when I get in that place of fear, I just make myself step forward and punch through it. And on the other side is all kinds of incredible opportunities. And Aaron then introduced me to these two. I was in a quandary of my health insurance and I didn't know what to do. And everybody I asked about it said, no, and maybe you can call that person or try this organization. This man signed me up and now I'm taken care of for my health care. Again, ask and you shall receive. Woo-hoo! Thank you.
Anyone else?
Remember Plastica. You guys weren't here. Every week I'm doing my miracle and ordinary on this um, planet that I used to call Earth, and now I'm calling it Plastica. Well, I won't go on because we only have a certain amount of time. Um, but the miracles this week on the don't use single use plastica in my life are that I took all these cups that I had from a party, a birthday party from last year, and I'm passing them around in places I go. Do you need a new cup? And these are biodegradable. Now, if you have any containers like this at home, guess what? You can put holes in the bottom of them and put some dirt or whatever and some seeds, and you can grow your next little plants in them that you will harvest. So that was this week Plastic Miracle in the land of Plastica.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Are you hearing me okay? Wonderful, wonderful. I'm delighted to introduce Manuel Roberto. His presentation today is on the nature of divine sound and the origin of consciousness. He's a flutist or flautist. Which do you prefer?
Flautist.
Flautist and poet, and has served as one of our former presidents here at New Thought Center of Hawaii. Manuel studied Indian classical flute music with world-renowned flautist G.S. Sachdev, and he also studied tabla drums with Zakir Hussain. Did I say that one right? Yes. All right. His studies of music and Indian philosophy have led him to understand the divine sound vibration is the most subtle element that creates the codes of consciousness in this universe. The music of the spheres is the essence of the universe. Today, Manuel will be and Bernice will be performing music along with other guest musicians. Bernice is the artistic director of the Kona Harp Ensemble, the magic of harps, woodwinds, voices, and orchestration. The music will include traditional selections from Hawaii, Ireland, Scotland, Japan, and India, as well as contemporary music and original compositions. Carry on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. So since this program is about divine sound, so we are going to be playing quite a bit of music of different traditions so that we all understand what divine sound is. Now, if we talk about divine sound, we need to come back and remember, I think some of you have been here to previous lectures that I've given here at New Thought. So we need to understand, just come back to the basics so that we are all talking about the same thing. There are basically two energies that we know in this universe. One is the material energy, which is composed of material elements such as earth, water, air, earth, ether, fire. 5 elements. And those 5 elements, they have different other, like earth is, you can divide it now in zinc, iron, and so on. So there are so many different elements, but it's basically earth, water, H2O, air, oxygen, nitrogen, and a few other elements. So, but that is still material elements that we can see with our eyes or perceive with our nose or with basically with our senses. That's material. Now, beyond the material elements that we can see with our senses, there is the mind, the intelligence, and the ego, which is what forms consciousness. So that is a reality, okay? Mind is a reality, same as intelligence. Mind is that which puts everything together. The mind is like a computer that puts all the sense perception, all the experiences that we see, and gathers all that experience and processes so that guided by the intelligence, we reach a certain result. And the one who enjoys or does not enjoy the experience will be what is called the ego. And that would get into the realm of psychology, the teachings of Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung. Actually, Carl Jung was the successor to Sigmund Freud, and he went a little bit farther than Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud basically talked about how sex is the basis of everything that we see in life, while Carl Jung said, yes, it is true, except that, you know, you can use that for good as well, or to get to a higher level of consciousness. It's not, we cannot just stay at the level of matter. There has to be something beyond matter. That was Carl Jung's point. And also that was taken from a German philosopher named Arthur Schopenhauer. And Arthur Schopenhauer also believed that you can get to transcendence by reaching a level of goodness. So there are 3 modes that control the material universe: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Basically, all of us are at some point in goodness, sometimes in passion, and sometimes we are in ignorance. Like when we go to sleep, we are just in ignorance. We're just going to sleep. You are tired, basically, and you want to go. In passion would be things that you want to do. You want to dance, you want to move, you want to do things, you know, and there's, of course, a lot of music related to that. And in the mode of goodness is that which leads you into meditation. A lot of the classical music will get you there on some other type of music. So Schopenhauer said that in order to get to that transcendence, it's much easier to do it through the mode of goodness, through a beautiful piece of art, through a beautiful piece of music, and then we can get to that transcendent space. So that is the material world, which includes all of these elements. Now, beyond that, there is another realm, and that is the realm of the anti-material world, which is scientists now are coming to it, and they are realizing, well, wait a second, everything that we see is not all there is. If you went through the 60s and you did some experimentation with different things out there, then you realize that, wait a second, this 3-dimensional system plus time is not all there is. There is something else beyond this. And you probably had other experiences that didn't match really your physical material experience. So that's because the universe that we live is a multi-dimensional system, multi-dimensional universe. So there are things that coexist that live here which may be crossing by in different dimensional system. Now you can say, well, how, if you don't believe me that, again, if you were in the 60s taking some of this chemical stuff or even natural stuff, or you go to Peru and take some ayahuasca or things like that, you will realize that, whoa, there is other things out here that I don't know that there existed before or that they were here experiencing. So I'm just going to play a little piece for you, thanks to Ingrid, who is here with us today. And actually, listen, you folks are very, very lucky because we have Jean-Pierre Thomas, who is an amazing musician, double masters in music. And then we have Ingrid Dean, who is an amazing flautist and keyboards player and piano player. And they happen to come from Hilo all the way to be here with us. So they are very special musicians. And of course, my lovely wife that I've been together for the last 50 years, Bernice, who we have been playing music for a long time. So anyway, uh, Ingrid had this instrument. I was playing it the other day. I said, hey, can I have this for my talk on Sundays? She said, sure. We were at her place. And I have one myself. Of course, I've been playing Native American flute for a long time. So I just wanted to play a piece which I've been playing on this piece. Now, the Native American flute or the Native American music, the Native Americans don't call this music music. They call it medicine. And you will understand in a minute what I mean when I think some of you said that you like the Native American flute or Native American music because it really is medicine, because it takes you to that point where you realize that you are not, that this material world is not all there is. So basically, the shamans in the native tradition bring you to that point where they say, okay, this is the material world, this is the anti-material world, and that's as far as I'm going to take you. That's what the shamans do. Basically show you that there are actually two different energies. And if we want to go beyond in any type of spiritual realization, we got to get to the point that, yeah, there is this material energy and anti-material energy, which people call also spiritual energy. And then we'll discuss later, well, how did all of these manifest? Why? And in this case, what I'm trying to say here is that music is a very big part of it because it's sound vibration, and the world is made out of vibration. As new developments in quantum physics are coming to this realization that the atom is just a theoretical formula. There is an atom composed of electrons, neutrons, and positrons, and so on, but this is just theoretical. What scientists are realizing, wait a second, everything is in vibration, actually. And whatever we think that is the smallest particle of anything is only in relationship to another particle of matter, which also you can divide it into so many other different pieces. But ultimately, this is all in vibration. And that's why we are developing all these new technologies with cell phones and satellite technology and so on. Because these people are realizing that, wait a second, between the digital world of 010101000001, which is digital, which is mechanistic science, there is something in between that zero and that one. And that's where music comes from. That's where music comes in, because it's more than just the zero and more than just the one. It's something in between there. So let me get you to that point now, and we'll proceed after this with another piece. Huh? So go. Just take me a minute, because this is not music. This is just, I have to center myself. Well, so the Native Americans, they had a different understanding of things, but very, very interesting as well. And of course, we were playing earlier the Pachelbel canon. In the Western European tradition, we also understood that through the musical tradition. But the Native American, they realized that there is a connection between the breath and the flute. And the thing is that the breath that is coming from the diaphragm is going through the heart, is going through the lungs, and is expressing all these emotions and feelings that are coming through. And those emotions, feelings in India is called rasa. Those are the basis of consciousness. Consciousness. And consciousness is the basis of life. There's no life without consciousness. Now, this is what the scientists are coming to the realization. Like I was giving a lecture in Florida recently, and I said, as far as I know, there is no probability that a bunch of chemicals put together and there is some big bang, you can dynamite those chemicals and it would create life. There is no chance. So after I finished the lecture, there was a scientist in the class, very advanced scientist, an older gentleman. And he said, yes, I'm a probabilities mathematician. I deal with probability. And the probability of creating life or living organisms out of matter is zero. There is no probability, not possible. You cannot just put a bunch of chemicals, dynamite them, create a big bang, and create life. It doesn't work that way. So now the question is, the scientists, I don't argue with their claim or the evidence. The only thing I'm arguing here is the explanation of that claim and evidence. The claim was that Theia, a big planet, crashed against planet Earth, Gaia, many years ago, actually like 4 billion into the existence of the planet. And from that explosion, that shock, the moon was created. We're not against it. We are not, the claim is fine. Now the moon rotated around planet Earth and made it to slow down
so that life could happen, so that the vegetables could grow. Isn't that what the story of the god Maui that went from the big island to Maui and fought with the sun Kala because why? Because the earth was spinning too fast and there was not enough time to grow vegetables. So Maui wanted to slow down the earth. So similar. That's a story from the Hawaiian tradition. But that is what the scientists are saying is that because the moon was spinning around the earth, it slowed it down to the point that we could have actually the growth of vegetables. And as you probably all know, the moon is very important for the growth of vegetables, for fertility, and actually all the moon cycles of the females are ruled by the moon. Now, if you listen to some of the latest videos and lectures, teachings in the scientific community, one of the latest, very well put together, read by Morgan Freeman, put together by the BBC. This is the actual standard textbook scientific information that we teach in the high schools and college, you know. So they come to the point is that, well, this is the claim, this is the evidence, we agree. What is the explanation? Luck. It was just luck that the earth tilted in such a way that now we have the four seasons. So in other words, you are telling me that the four seasons, the spring, summer, winter, fall, they are coming because of luck. It just happens that the moon came out of the earth and the earth was tilted in such a way that now we have the four seasons. And it so happened, oh, and by the way, and the sun sets right at the, when it's supposed to be, or the sun rises when it's supposed to be in Hilo, but sun sets here in Kona when it's supposed to be according to this tilting of the planet Earth, but it's just luck. Well, what we are saying is that it wasn't luck. It was engineer. There is consciousness behind the creation of the universe. So we don't disagree with the claim or the evidence. It's fine. We understand that that's the way it was. Okay. There is evidence from carbon testing or other type of tests, but the explanation that we have is that it is because of engineering. And that engineering has to do with the music of the spheres, the music that is being created, which is very subtle. And that music is the texture of the universe. So now, if we are talking about music, then we're also talking about the musician that plays that music. Okay, so the musician that plays that music has come to many cultures. It's already telling us, came to the Native American culture as Kokopelli. Yeah, you probably have heard of Kokopelli, the original flautists that play this beautiful music. Actually, when I was playing this music just a few minutes ago, I really am not the player of the music, and don't think that I'm some great musician. I'm not. I'm not really a great musician. I don't really know much about music. Those people they are great musicians. I really don't play much music. But what I do is I put myself in a state of trance so that I allow the music to come through me, what is called Saraswati, or the music that is an experience. And my teacher, Saistev, he told me, you got to practice to the point where the music, when the music wants to come through you, it will express itself. And you don't want your fingers to be on the way. So I used to practice 8 hours a day, and I did that for years, like 4 or 5 years. Bernice was always on my case. Hey, you got to get to work. You got to get a job. You cannot keep playing for 8 hours a day. But I said, but this is what my teacher said. I'm supposed to play 8 hours a day. But she said, no. You got to get to work. So you got to maintain the family. But anyway, that's another story. So this is the shakuhachi, which also is played in China as the sho, or in India it's called the murali. But the shakuhachi is a very interesting instrument because it's very dynamic. It can be very soft or very loud in one single breath. So It's very, very interesting instrument. And I've seen very great players of the shakuhachi playing this instrument. Ingrid was in Japan recently, a few years ago, and saw this extraordinary flautist playing the shakuhachi. It was played by the Buddhist monks for many, many years as well, uh, because that's another way to connect with that energy which is beyond matter. So we're going to play a piece for you which is Sakura Sakura. And we played this. This is a very sacred piece, although it has been popularized, but it is very sacred, especially among the Japanese people. Actually, we have been invited many times at the Daifukuji temple to play. And during the most sacred moment of the whole year for the Zen Buddhists, which is the Hanamatsuri, the birth of the Buddha. We play this during the most sacred time of their meditations. And it's a very, very beautiful piece because it just brings you back to the heart. So this is Sakura. So now sakura, if you ever go to Japan, means the cherry blossoms. Actually, you can go to Waimea in around mm, February or early March. That's when the cherry blossoms bloom over there. In Japan, it's somewhere in sometime in April, and it's very, very beautiful scene when you see those cherry blossoms. They uh, fall to the ground and they cover the whole landscape with white petals. And so it is like a metaphor for life, where it's very beautiful. It's extremely beautiful scene. But at the same time, that scene is very short-lived. It's a very short experience. It's only a few days on the trees and a few days on the ground, and then it's all gone. And then another year will come, and then the blossoms will come back again. So that is life. Life is uh, is short or short-lived in one sense, but that is only in relationship to the material energy. The material energy, that's the issue, is that the material energy is always temporary. It's illusory. Why it's illusory? It's because it's here today, gone tomorrow. In other words, there is no permanence on the material energy. The good news is that the controller of the material energy is the anti-material energy, is the most powerful of the two. And then anti-material energy, what we call also the spiritual energy, the Atma, the soul, the spirit that is in every living entity, including the trees and including the animals, everything that is alive has that spiritual entity, spiritual energy, or spiritual spark. That is eternal. That's the good news. That is the good news. So that, uh, as I was reading recently, one of a book from a great teacher, he was saying, well, it's just you have an apartment. And when the apartment goes all, and then you got to move to another apartment. That's it. George Harrison said, well, you're driving a car, sometimes the car breaks down and sometimes it just doesn't work. So you got to get another car. That's what George Harrison said. He's another one of my teachers. So that's what it is. There is an apartment, and then you got to change apartments, and you got to keep moving. So, but the main thing is that if we understand this point, then we understand that we are actually, truly speaking, not this body. Because this body, believe me, is not going to be here very long. I thought that I was going to live for a long time. Look, I was a basketball player in high school and college. When I was at the University of Madrid in Spain, I mean, I was 6'3", 200 pounds. I could dunk basketball. I mean, I was really powerful. I mean, I thought that I was like, that I could live forever. And then as you grow older, think, wait a second, how come I change here? How come I am not the same as I was when I was 18? See? And before you know it, you'll realize that, wait a second, I'm not 18 anymore. What happened to all that vitality? It's just, that's part of life. Of course, then I realized as you grow older that there are other things that come into play which are very beautiful. And I say, well, I wish I would have known this when I was 18. You know, you get experiences, you get knowledge or information, and you get other things that I wish I had them. I wish I knew these things. And this is what we need to pass on to the kids. That's why I like to teach in the schools. And I taught for 10 years, and I'm thinking to go back now that I'm in Florida. How am I going to go back and teach in the schools? Because I really love teaching. I really like to deal with the kids. And I always tell them this point. Hey, kids, you know, you eventually are going to grow up. So you got to, uh, you don't want to, most people don't plan to fail. So don't plan to fail, because nobody does that. Nobody's thinking, well, how am I going to how am I going to become a thief or a drunkard? How am I going to go to jail? No, people don't plan like that. But people fail to plan. So that's what I say. So you should not fail to plan. You should not fail to plan. You should plan right now how you're going to live your life so that it's always perfect, it's always beautiful, and you are always surrounded by good friends and family, and you are always happy, this is what you should do. And ultimately, the one thing that I've always experienced that it will help you if you do service. Service to others is very good. It's very good. Actually, one of the teachers from the Christian tradition and Jesus Christ, actually, I appreciate Jesus very much because he was really into this service attitude of helping others. So, and of course, in the Buddhist tradition, there is that teaching as well, or the Hindu tradition. Usually, the great teachers they come back to the same thing: how we can help others, how can we perform service, so that we can get in touch with that energy. And actually, the energy will come and manifest itself, and you will do things which are really beyond your capacity. I mean, I've personally in my life I have done things that I couldn't believe that I did those things, but I did. You know, it's like including learning how to play all these instruments, which is practically I couldn't believe that I could really do that. Like the shakuhachi. When I went to Japan, I knew how to play the bansuri, but the first time I always wanted to play shakuhachi. I don't know why, maybe past life thing. And so when I went to Japan, a friend said, "Oh, you should meet this great shakuhachi master." And I met him, and he said, "Oh," he was a shakuhachi Japanese person. He said, "Ah, so you want to play shakuhachi?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to try." So he said, "Okay, well, here." And he gave me this instrument to play. He said, "Well, why don't you try to play this?" So I put it to my lips, and I made a sound. He said, "Wow, I've never seen a white man making a sound out of a shakuhachi." So, because this instrument is not an easy instrument to play. I mean, it has a hole here, it's a very large hole, and it's not. So he gave me, he said, "Wow, you can have the flute. I give it to you." So he gave me this instrument, which is about 100 years old, and it's a very magical instrument. So he taught me a few basics of the instrument, how to play it. And then I prayed a lot because, of course, you can play the instrument for some time, but then if you want to play music, that's another story. You really have to work on it. So, and now we are going to conclude the presentation with one more piece from India. The Vedic story of creation. So this is the Vedic story of creation is that actually God, as I say, in all cultures you will find this, but in the Vedic stories, they tell you very clearly that God plays the flute, Krishna. Of course, the Native Americans also believe that Kokopelli plays the flute, and of course, in the Sufi tradition, you'll find a lot of those teachings as well, like the Ney, and in the Buddhist Japanese tradition. But in India, there is definitely a very strong teaching that the basis of consciousness comes from the flute. And if you study Indian music, which I studied very in depth for the last 45 years, actually, I've only reached the surface of it, and I've played for hours and days and years on it. And still, I only know a few of these melodies and songs. But you can see that every one of these melodies creates a different feeling, different emotions. If you want to create the feeling of love or separation or jealousy or anger or whatever feeling you want, you can really create it by the sound of this flute. And it takes you into that consciousness. So the piece we're going to play is in D major. It's called Brindavan, and it's a is an experience of the spiritual world or the anti-material world. So we would like to take you to the anti-material world right now. So it can be right now. You don't need to pass. You don't need to die. You don't. No, no. Right now, right here. Go to the spiritual world. Enjoy yourselves. This is Brindavan. Brindavan is the spiritual world where every step is a dance and every speech is a song.
splendid concert and explanation of the music and your own devotion to preparing yourself for being the musician that you are. We have a lot coming up at New Thought. The very first thing to tell you is that following today's meeting, in the back of the room, we are going to have a potluck. Hopefully, some of you brought something, and some of the items are vegan, some are not. Uh, but we would love to invite everyone to join us with that. And then there's also a produce giveaway. I brought bananas. We had extra bananas on our farm. There are a few other things back there, and you're welcome to take them as you need them. In addition, pardon? Oh, I'm going to pass this around while I do normally we do it with the song, and I am sorry that I did not think of doing that with the song. So I'm going to pass the Koa Bowl while I tell you about the upcoming presenters.
Tell the presenters, yes.
Okay.
Hey!
Well, thank you to our dancers in the back, as well as anyone who put your energy or your financial contribution into the Koa Bowl. We appreciate your support. A little quick recap of who's coming to speak to us next week. 8-6 Babaji Bob Kidler, Non Duality, Your Birthless, Deathless Nature. Then music will be by Lori Cully. On the 13th of August, Dr. Susan Gregg, Our Inner Dialogue Creates Our Reality. It's yours. Create what you want. Music will be by Vibhuta. On the 20th, Drew Womack will speak on freedom and do both program and music. On the 27th, Kumukeala Ching will do program and music. And just for those of you who know this, Dr. Kumukeala Ching is a native Hawaiian hula teacher that has made a significant contribution to New Thought by presenting Hawaiian language and wisdom. Okay, just so that you know, we have all of the programs archived since COVID with YouTube, so you could revisit this wonderful concert anytime you wish. And we urge you, if you have not already signed up to receive our newsletters, to go to newthoughtcenterofhawaii.com and you can sign up there, or if you prefer, you sign the book and we'll make sure that you get our email newsletter. Today, we will have the potluck, so let me give you a couple of monthly events. Weekly, there is a Tai Chi and Qigong class, Jinan Wong, $15, Mondays 4:30 to 5:30. The Crystal Bowl meditation happens the second Sunday of the month, and August the 13th is our next one. That'll be in the Hanua room behind us here. We always have service opportunities, including potluck help, lay ministers. We thank Patty Wall for the beautiful lays. You can volunteer to be a greeter, to help set up, to help put the stuff away after we leave. So welcome again, and let's circle up. And the song that we sing is posted on a number of places. Aloha e.
You ready? E Hawaii e kuhone haunau e kuhone kulai wine Oli no aina pono ahio E Hawaii aloha E haoni au pio o Hawaii Oli Oli Olai ahe makane pau mai nei Mau ke aloha no Hawaii E haohi na o pio o Hawaii Oli Oli ahe makane pau mai nei Mau ke aloha no Hawaii E haohi na o pio o Hawaii Oli Oli